Welcome back to Part 2 of learning about the standard CANs in Canvas 2.0. In Part 1, we reviewed adding a child, and now we'll create an initial assessment for that child. So let's start the assessment. Click Start Assessment. And as we are in interview mode, you'll see the options for ratings. Select the answers for the first 3 questions. The community-based services, whether or not the child has been removed, and then the age of the child. And then on the current placement questions, you have the choices of foster home, group home, residential treatment, and family relation home. Select the child's primary placement. For example, a child may be placed in a group home, but occasionally visit the family home. The child's placement is the group home. Okay, let's go back and see the rapid entry mode. Click Save. And go back to Child View. And then select the assessment. And now we'll go back to selecting Rapid Entry and continue the assessment. We should see the first few items that we just rated on the interview mode should show up on the Rapid Entry mode. For those of you familiar with Canvas, you'll notice right away that the Rapid Entry interface looks very different and much easier to navigate. Canvas 2.0 also has a comments box by each item. These comments are not required, but are available if the rater wishes to make a particular note. For example, by the living situation item, the rating might be a 3, and the assessor writes in the comment box, child placed by court. These notes will print with the final assessment report. On the developmental item, you'll see that the area is grayed, and if you select a rating of 1 or higher, the rating will trigger the module. Instead of appearing at the end of the assessment, as in the current system, the module will drop open after you select the rating. This is how all the trigger items and modules work in Canvas 2.0, instead of finding the appropriate module at the end of the assessment. So we're going to move through the assessment and just rate some items so we can get through and demonstrate. You just click the appropriate item rating. On the independent living item, you'll notice that there is an instruction now to what to do if the child is under the age of 14, rate 0. Sometimes people just leave that blank because they're not sure what to do. Rate the strengths resiliency domain. Okay, rate the school domain, then child behavioral emotional needs. And again, you'll see that there are a couple of items that are grayed, adjustment to trauma and substance use. So if you click a 1 or a higher on those items, you're going to open the module. Okay, the same way with the risk behaviors, you've got 4 or 5 items there that will potentially open modules if you click 1 or higher. You'll also notice that the social behavior item has been renamed intentional misbehavior. The residential treatment module does not need to be done unless the child is in a residential treatment program. You may leave it blank. So next we'll save the assessment and try to close it. Sometimes if you miss an item, it will not save and close, so we're going to scroll back through and make sure we didn't miss an item. And anger control. Sometimes when you click, it doesn't take, so you may have to go back and check. Okay, now we've gotten the news we can't save and close this assessment because we have to do a caregiver assessment first. So we're going to click the Add button to add the caregiver assessments. Okay, the caregiver mom comes up, so we click on that name. And now we're going to complete the caregiver assessment. On the standard CANs, you may rate more than 1 caregiver, but for this demo, we're only going to rate 1. The caregiver assessment on the standard CANs is the former planned permanent caregiver strengths and needs domain. It is now titled as the parent guardian strengths and needs domain. So these items should be familiar to you. The safety item has been reworded somewhat, so you may want to take a look at that in the interview mode. From here, the steps to complete the assessment and generate the report, select Save Assessment. So we're saving. Then once it saves, you should get a notice in red. Now we're going to go back to Main Assessment. And we've saved the caregiver part, so we're going to save and close the entire assessment. And we have to scroll down to the bottom and click Save and Close. Okay, if the assessment won't close, again, you may have missed an item, so you always scroll to the bottom of the page to see if there's an error message at this point. Okay, look at the top once the assessment closes. And we've got an example. Not all required questions have been answered in the following module: child behavioral emotional needs. So anger control, that's the same one that didn't take before. Okay, save and close. All right, and there we go. You've got a closed assessment. The child's assessment does not meet the algorithm requirements for residential treatment. Okay, now we'll access the completed report that you can print. So scroll down, click on the Assessments tab, and then select the report link. And we'll pull that report up. And you'll see that the little circle is spinning, so we know it's trying to come up. One thing I might point out here is that the wording has changed somewhat on the algorithm recommendation. We used to have that wording about the child meeting the criteria for residential treatment or intensive community-based services in a therapeutic environment. To be clear, we've just put in residential treatment because we want to make sure that people understand that the purpose of that algorithm recommendation is to let you know that the criteria the child meets are severe enough, or their needs are severe enough for them to benefit from residential treatment. Based on different ways you rated the CANS, it generates a profile which indicates that residential treatment might be helpful for this child. Okay, now we've got the summary report, and you'll see you've got all your information demographic on the first page, including the caregiver. And now we're looking at the items and the ratings. The last pages will be the caregiver pages. You can see the parent, guardian, strengths and needs. It shows mom's name, relationship, mother. Okay, to print the report, you're going to go to the export box and click drop down and select PDF. And then you're just going to click, once the PDF comes up, on the print icon. There we go. And it'll ask you if you want to open or save, whichever you want to do. Okay, lastly, always remember to consult the new and improved Virginia CANS Assessment, Item, and Rating Definitions Manual. As in the past, there are two versions, one for ages birth to 4 and a second for children and youth 5 to 21. Additionally, we have those versions for the DSS Enhanced and the Standard CANS. This manual is really essential when taking a certification test or rating a CANS, as it provides the complete item definitions, anchor definitions, time frames for each item, as well as tips and clarifications on various items. It's a good idea to print a copy and have it handy when rating the CANS. You can find it on the CSA website at www.csa.virginia.gov, but it will be available on the Canvas site under Documents and the CANS Training and Certification site. If you have questions about Canvas 2.0, start with your local CANS administrator. An updated list will be available under CANS Super Users Administrators on the CSA website. We will continue to have help desk support, so if you have questions, you may contact the help desk at 1-877-727-8329 or canvas@rcrtechnology.com. Remember, do not email child-specific information. And, of course, you may always contact the Office of Children's Services for assistance. One last note. We have found that Canvas 2.0 works best in Internet Explorer. We hope you have found this demonstration helpful.